Big night in the Eastern Conference of MLS in particular. Simon Borg, Greg Lawless from MLSsoccer.com. A little reaction to it all. Simon, the big story, DC United with a stoppage time victory over Columbus. That puts United into the playoffs. Columbus are out.
Greg, for my money, this game, DC Columbus, the best game of the year. Back and forth, unbelievable rhythm. In the end, Columbus's legs gave out a little. DC subs, fresh off the bench. Branko Boskovic combines with Lewis Neal. They get the game-winning goal.
Yeah, and it was rocking at RFK. A couple other big results in this one on this night. New York, 0-0 with Sporting Kansas City. That means Kansas City no longer in the fight for the Supporters' Shield, but it also ends up putting New York into the playoffs. The other game, 3-1, Houston over Philly, the Dynamo into the playoffs as well. What do you think of those two matches?
I think it's a big night for New York, Greg. Despite a 0-0 result here, which doesn't really grab the headlines, New York had a display of personality in this game. Taking it to Sporting Kansas City, few teams are able to do that, but they showed they have life. Beware of this team in the playoffs.
And I think actually if you looked at Houston after the final whistle, there was some relief, but also some joy as if they were feeling a little bit more confident now as well. A surprising shock loss for the Chicago Fire at New England. Didn't really look sharp, didn't look like themselves. And New England, you know, a great goal from Diego Fagundes. They put a couple things together. They got the result. Another big note, though, Supporters' Shield. It's going to San Jose. With that draw from Sporting Kansas City, the Earthquakes clinch the Supporters' Shield. They'll have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Staying in the Western Conference, the Earthquakes take on the LA Galaxy in a Super Classico on Sunday afternoon. There's one playoff spot left in the Western Conference. Vancouver Whitecaps, they're hosting Portland in a Cascadia Cup clash. Vancouver fighting for that final spot. Dallas right behind them. How do you see that one breaking down?
Let's see, Greg, what matters more? Cascadia Cup for Portland, they can clinch it with a win, or the playoffs, a playoff berth for Vancouver. They can do it at home. We'll see which one matters
I think
most.
it's a pretty easy answer in that one. I think it's playoffs for Vancouver. Be sure you check that one out on Sunday night. That's it for us. Simon Borg, Greg Lawless, MLSsoccer.com.